What if discipline wasn't about rigid control, but about devotion? We often resist the word discipline because it feels harsh, authoritarian, and restrictive. But what if we saw it differently? Today, I want to unpack the real meaning behind the word and how it can actually guide us, not through force, but through love and purpose. Hi, I'm Fiona Morris from Philosophies, and it's day 9 of my Snowdrop Visibility Challenge. Yesterday, I shared how committing to non negotiable discipline and to do what you say you will can help you to cut through when you feel like giving up. After posting my video, I received a comment that had me contemplating the word discipline more deeply. I considered how the tone of the word discipline is commonly perceived as strict and authoritarian and can consciously or subconsciously invoke resistance and rebellion. And that really got me reflecting on the power of language and how choosing the right words can shift our experience. We tend to think of discipline as something rigid, even punishing, but the word actually has a completely different origin. It comes from the Latin disciplina, which means instruction, teaching, and knowledge, not punishment or control. It's also linked to discipulus, meaning pupil, student, or learner, which is where we get the word disciple. A disciple isn't someone who follows rules out of fear, but someone deeply devoted to learning and embodying a path. So here's where it gets interesting. In the 13th century, the meaning of the word discipline began to shift. It started to take on harsher connotations associated with moral correction, self restraint, and punishment, ideas that later evolved into strict religious and institutional discipline. This shift is where many of us get the idea that discipline equals restriction or control. But if we go back to its roots, discipline is actually about dedication to learning, to deep practice and devotion. What if, instead of seeing discipline as restriction, we saw it as a practice of devotion to our dreams, to our growth and evolution? What if discipline wasn't about force, but about love? Instead of forcing ourselves to be disciplined, we can commit to showing up as students of our own journey. When we see ourselves as devoted learners, consistency becomes a natural byproduct, not a struggle. For example, think of an artist, a musician, or a healer. Discipline isn't about punishment, it's about deep commitment to becoming skilled in something they are deeply passionate about. Many people, myself included, struggle with the word discipline because it has some heavy connotations. That comment on my post also reminded me of something. At the start of the year, the word consistency came up for me in a meditation to work with in 2025 as a word of the year. Consistency is something I've been craving to develop deep down, but I felt a sense of restriction and resistance even around that word. So instead, I chose to reword it and I landed on creative momentum, and that felt expansive. Creative momentum carries the energy of movement, inspiration, and flow. That's what I believe allowed me to commit to this challenge, to show up every day on video, even when it's uncomfortable. In doing so, I'm transforming my old and outworn limiting beliefs around discipline and consistency. When we bring awareness to words that trigger us, we can reclaim them and shift our experience. We stop fighting ourselves and instead learn to flow with our own rhythm. It's like surfing with the waves instead of swimming against them, so to speak. So, what if we replace the word discipline with devotion? How would that feel? Devotion is fueled by love, purpose, and meaning. When we are devoted to something, whether it's a craft, a calling, or our own self growth, we show up with commitment, but without force or punishment. So now I'd love to hear from you. What's your relationship with the word discipline? Does it feel restrictive or empowering? If you could reframe it, what word would you choose? Let's continue the discussion in the comments. I'd love to explore this more with you. And if you want to build momentum in a way that feels natural and aligned, I invite you to check out my online community, Dive into the Unknown. We're all about flowing with our seasons and cycles while still showing up for our dreams. You'll find more info in the links below. And if you want to build trust in yourself to show up consistently, or should I say devotedly, I also offer one-to-one holistic mentoring and herbal consultations to support your energy and mindset. Just send me a message if you're curious. Meanwhile, thank you for tuning in today. May you find your flow and creative momentum in devotion to your dreams. See you in the next one.